question time. But what I do want to do is, how are you guys doing? Oh, there's so many questions. But I'm gonna bring on because I want to hold this lady for too much. Wow, guys, I will come to your questions. I will do definitely come to your questions, okay? But I've got somebody who already joined on Fab. Amazing woman. From the beginning, it was just like my sister. She's wonderful. She's even come to one of the Fashion Africa Voices events. And I'd just like to introduce Sonachi to you. I'm trying to bring her on screen. Sonachi, you are live.
Hi.
Hi, hi,
Hello.
hi. Let me
Hi, everybody.
just making sure that I don't have any extra sound. Okay, so Sonachi, welcome. I know you
Thank
waited
you.
time. I thought I was going to finish a bit earlier, but really appreciate you. I'm loving working with you. Sonachi is also on the same program as Francis, who you saw yesterday. They're saying hey, they're saying hi to you, Sonachi.
Hi.
So Sonachi, where were you before you joined Fab?
Before I had joined Fab, I was all in my head really. I'd actually just come back from a trip to Ghana. It was a holiday to Ghana, but I've got to admit that I went there with half a thought to just find out how I could do something with fashion. And I kind of came back being very inspired, but realized that actually I needed a bit more. I needed a better introduction than I had whilst I was there. Because I didn't get to meet any makers or any factories, none of that. I didn't have a clue. But it was a great holiday anyway. But I just knew that I needed to set up, I needed to have a business. And I had done bits because I was sewing myself at home and, doing the odd bit here and there. But one woman with a sewing machine, it's hard work and not very inspiring in the long run. And I don't know how it happened. All I know is that I came across Jacqueline Shaw, possibly on Instagram and then on Facebook, and I literally didn't think about it. I didn't think about it for I think over a day. And for me, I tend to live in my head and I'll ruminate over things over and over again. But I literally booked that call and just got onto the course as soon as possible because I just knew it was perfect for me.
Would you say that you were, when you decided to join Fab, the Fashion Africa Business Training, would you say that you were ready to join?
Yeah, definitely. I needed something because, like I said, it was all in my head. And when you have so many thoughts in your head that it's just a mush and it's kind of driving you mad. And you just had this feeling that whatever's in your head has to come out. It's got to come out in an organized way, and it has to come out into something tangible because too much thinking had been going on over the years, and this had to come out. I felt I was kind of losing it a little bit. It had to come out.
So what attracted you to Fab? When you saw what I was doing, what attracted you to Fab?
I think initially the first thing that appealed to me was the fact that you obviously knew contacts over not just in one country, but you talked about Burkina Faso, you talked about South Africa, you talked about Kenya. And for me, that really appealed to me because I actually like travel anyway. But I do need an excuse to go to these places. And then the second is when I kind of got over that initial excitement, then I realized, oh, she's got a background in fashion. And I don't have a background in fashion. The only background I have is that just before I went to university, I worked for 2 years for the Arcadia Group in their import department. That was as near as I got. So what happened was that you had buyers who were kind of gods in another building who we never spoke to, and they would order, say, 30,000 skirts and 30,000 silk tops for whoever, for, you know, Miss Selfridge or Topshop or whatever. And my glamorous job was to make sure that I got the import licenses, the certificate of origins, and liaise with the supplier and the shipper, make sure they've got the documents to get the cargo onto the plane or onto the shipping container, and then I book it into the warehouse. And that's all I had of fashion. And I did that for 2 years. And so, but when I started reading more, going into Jacqueline's website, I realized that all the gaps of knowledge that I had from the little bit of fashion experience, a tiny bit of fashion experience that I had whilst working for it was Arcadia, that this was the woman to answer those, to fill in those knowledge gaps. So that's what really kind of pushed me to call.
And there, guys, you see that you don't need to have the background. Most of the people who I work with do not have the background,
No.
and you don't need that. It's having that vision, like I'm saying, and you having somebody who does have the background that can take you through. So, what have you? I know we're like around halfway through. What have you gained so far? What's been some of the gains for you? What's been the positives for you in the fab training so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think the positive so far is that finally the stuff that's been in my head for years and years is now coming out, and it's coming out onto designs on paper. It's and also the whole having had these ideas in my head, but not having a way to execute them or a way to go forward. It's like having a lot of hope, but not being able to do anything with it. But now that I'm on the course, I can actually see a tangible product. I can just about fit. I haven't had one dress made by any producer in Africa, but I can literally feel it. It's that real. And so you gain a lot of confidence. You also begin to realize that it's not such a difficult journey, but it's a journey that starts with you've got to take the steps to do it. And anybody who's produced any garment, whether it be a small designer or a big store, have had to do those same steps.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, I've been, we looked at, the designs as well, and somebody who hasn't, well, who's had a different type of fashion background, I guess, or experience. The designs are very, very strong, and can already see opportunity. But even with Sonachi, we did a session on like your concept. How did you find doing that? Like building your mood board, building out your concept, the keywords. These are one of the tasks that you had to do. How did you find that first time being kind of forced to tunnel in on
Yeah.
a visual of your concept?
Yeah, I struggled with that, I have to say, because everything was a blur in my head. Everything's been in my head for years. I've never been forced to put it onto paper or to put it into a form that a third party would be able to look at it and say, yes, this works or whatever. And so I did struggle with it, but once I got into the flow, it all just started coming tumbling out.
Mm. Yeah, and that's kind of what I would do. I help you to pull out those things and to get directed, to get focused, to see an end goal. The roadmap, having the roadmap for you with the acronym
Yeah.
makes it easy for you to remember what step you're at or what junction, as we call them, at you are at. And again, just being connected to suppliers, even though you haven't yet started on that part of it. I've already told you guys that we've got clients who have worked with suppliers already, like Tamika, who I mentioned to you guys. Shruti is another one producing in Kenya on some licensed products. There's a bit more involved with the licensing. I did ask her to do this talk as well, but she said she will, but she wasn't able to at the moment because there was so much going on with Diwali and so forth because of her faith last week. So you just haven't had the chance to get into that. But the fact is, people are doing stuff. People are getting results. They're stepping out and they're being forced to make those actions. So how's it helping you to have like a set plan? Is that has that been good for you to have this structure of the roadmap?
Yeah, definitely. It's very good because I think that as we've been going through each week, I know that had I, say, if I'd got the formats in a manual, I know the bits about manifesto branding I would have skipped. But I would have skipped because it's like when you said manifesto, when you were talking about branding, it was like, oh my gosh, I just, it's not difficult. It's just a different way of thinking that you're not used to, and you've got to, um, you just have to discipline yourself to sit there and do it and think about it. And so, without the course, I would have not bothered doing those bits because to me they weren't important. They weren't interesting. I probably had to think too much and I wasn't in the mood. But actually, as you do the course, and then they talk about when Jacqueline introduced the concept of your ICA, which is your ideal customer avatar, you begin to realize actually that the whole thing with branding, manifesto, that they are absolutely essential because it's all intertwined. So you can't really have one without the other. I mean, you could, but chances are that you'll get things wrong.
Absolutely. So let them guys know. Would you recommend it? And what would you say?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. My only thing was I was like, where was Jackie like a year ago? Where was Jackie 2 years? How comes I did not come across Jackie all the time I spend on Google?
I think
Where
that's
has she been? How did I miss this?
one of
But
the correct.
I just think, you know, God knew when I was ready.
When the student is
That's all
ready,
I
the
can
teacher appears. When the
say.
student is ready, the teacher appears. And when the teacher gets themselves ready, I had to go through my own training in different
Yeah,
areas so that I could prepare something. Because the way that I did Fab before, like I said, the first times that I did Fab from 2013, 2014, and 2015, they were live. They were done live, as in workshops based in King's Cross. So they were more face to face. I'd have separate teachers coming in, and it was a shorter period of time. I think it was just 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and then no, I think 6 weeks it was. And then I took it online because I had people from all over the world who wanted to join. And then we had people from Aruba and Japan and Australia and Canada and throughout Europe who joined on the online course. But even that, it was just online was just a version of the one that we did in the face-to-face ones. But I had to think through what is it that people really want. So then this year it's been developed so that those who've been on it this year are getting the full process. I wanted you to come out fully equipped, to come out with something of value. Okay, so that's why it's been delivered the way it is. And like I said, I'm giving you guys my all. I'm pulling out everything, guys, for you guys. It's a lot, but I really enjoy it, and I think those who are joining, they do get a little bit like whoa, but it's enjoyable, right? And working with the others in the group. I mean, you do contribute as well. as well to the sessions. So how do you find that with the dynamics of the group as well for you? How is it? Do you get
Yeah,
to?
I think we're not, the group is just the right size. One of the first um, reservations I had was I thought that the group would probably be filled with people who are in the industry, know everything, and I wouldn't be able to keep up. But the group is absolutely perfect. I know that there are a couple of real professionals. They have fashion background, but they're very humble with it, and they never make you feel like less than, and they will contribute and they'll ask questions and they'll give their own views on things which help you learn. And it's I would say we're a quiet group. I don't know. I mean, I'm not having done it before. I don't know, but I'd say we're a quiet group. But it just enables you to learn. Um, and I would say also that the course itself. One thing I like about the course is it's really well structured. It's really well structured. I think you can definitely tell that Jacqueline has spent time and thought about it. This is what needs to be learnt in session 1, in 2, in 3, in 4, and it's very comprehensive. I mean, I think at the end of it, you wouldn't know, having gone through the course, you'd probably be able to write it at the back of a stamp. It's just it really is a good course. I've not felt overwhelmed, but at the same time, I know that what I'm being taught is what I need to know.
Wow.
It's a
Well,
great course. It really is.
I'm glad to be able to serve you, Sonachi, to be
It's
able
a
to serve,
great course.
and we're pushing through to get those out. I think we're coming up with even more ideas. We're developing your concept even further, and this lady has vision. This lady has vision, and it's even as you probably realize, and that's what I'll bring out in you guys is even more. And I'm working with you to help you bring it out. It's not even me. I'm just giving you some tools. I'm giving you some new ways of thinking, and for you to bring out everything that is within you. So that's why I love doing this, and I love to serve people like you and those who are ready to get going, because that helps when you know, regardless of the fear, regardless of the what ifs, that you're going to say yes to yourself, like Sonachi did, like Francis did, and just make that call and get registered and get enrolled, because we get started in December. So let's make this happen. So Nachi, God bless you. We'll see
Thank you.
you
You too.
Monday. Value your time. I know I've kept you probably longer than I wanted to. You look
It's
beautiful.
okay.
But I
It's
value.
all right.
But I'll let you go now, and I'll answer any questions
Okay.
you have in the group. So everyone say goodbye to Sanachi. Isn't she lovely?
Bye.
Such a sweet
Bye
person.
bye.
God bless you.
Thank you.